This is a TLDR tier list for next week's Mutation. This is based on solo play because your ally is a random factor that cannot be accounted for. Also, this is based on above average co-op knowledge. Mechanical skill is not that important in co-op. Adjust these rankings based on your own knowledge and skill level. I had a bit of trouble making this list because commander rankings kept changing as I experimented with and learned more about them. This is why it is important for you to actually play the mutation with each commander before giving your own thoughts and rankings. Check out my guide on how to deal with props without using a worker wall to see what I have learned during these games. Let's start with Nova. So Nova, she's actually pretty good. She can survive the first wave with an airstrike if you want, or you can drop some Hellbats or Marines with a defensive drone. Then she can airstrike the first one, but you need to aim pretty well. Afterwards, you just make tanks and use mines. So, pretty decent. Karax. Surprisingly, because of the terrain, Karax is actually pretty good. You do the triple solar lance early on, and later on you have enough monoliths, and you use orbital strike with the slow. You do need to aim well so that you actually hit, because if you try to hit them normally, they will run past your orbital strike. Tychus. Tychus, surprisingly, is not that good because of the first attack wave. He doesn't have anything before 3 minutes. Like, your engineering bay auto turrets are crap. So basically, you're very dependent on the first wave of enemies, not the first prop. Because with the first prop, you have Sam plus a stun gear already. So he's not so good only because of the first attack wave, which could actually completely destroy his base. And if you are spending money repairing, you might not be able to afford the stun gear for Sam. Zeratul, he needs to fight a certain comp. So if you're fighting like an easy comp, then it'll be okay because you need to be able to kill him with just ambushers. And the first prop's spawn location is important. So if it spawns too close, you might just die. However, once you get past the first one, it's actually not that hard. Manx is very good. The issue with Manx is that you need to know how to set up his bunker defense, and you have to be patient with your ESOs. You can't just make them and fire them. You can use ESO Island, but you need a bit of setup. You should check out my guide to see what I mean in more detail. Vorazun can use her CC abilities to stop the first few props, and later on, she can just make lots of stasis wards and cannons. You just need to make sure that they are replenished. You can't forget about them. If you don't replenish your stasis wards, then yeah, the props are going to get through. Abathur is extremely good for this mutation because he just dumps Toxic Nests. Later on, you add Vipers. You only need 3 Leviathans to destroy an entire base. You don't really need to add more stuff. So the rest of your resources go to defending the main. Dehaka. With 2 brothers, you can eat, you can roar, slow them down many times, and then your Impalers and Guardians will do a lot of the work. And then you use Creeper Host to destroy the shards, very easy. Raynor is very good for this one because you just need to make spider mines and mass them in the front. Of course, it kind of sucks if you fight air, but you can make some Vikings and leave them behind to defend at home, or missile turrets, of course, and all the ground enemies plus props will die to spider mines. You do have to stay on top of your macro though. Kerrigan, I thought Kerrigan was bad. She's actually same as the other ones. It just really depends on the enemy comp plus where the first prop spawns. So it's not that bad. I actually saw a run where the player used P0 Kerrigan and still beat this. So with P0 Kerrigan doing this, P3 is a lot easier. Phoenix, he's the one where you need to get a lot of luck to defeat the first prop, because if you're unlucky, he'll just eat everything. You need to be very lucky to not die to the first one. Hopefully it spawns far away, but even so, you might die to it. It sometimes kills 1 shell, sometimes it kills 5. And then you also have to do that again for the second one. So there are 2 chances where you might just get completely wrecked by props. So it's luck-based. Stukov. The first wave matters because if the enemy hits too hard, he's dead. And if the first prop is too close, you're also dead. Aside from that, after the first prop, it's actually pretty easy because he can have his cooldowns, and then he has queens, just spawn brutling them, and late game, you have lots of tanks and diamondbacks. Han and Horner, enemy comp doesn't matter too much, but you do need to aim well, you need to position your magmines well, you need to aim your strike fighters well. Stedman, he goes in B because he just needs to deal with the first wave and the first prop. Then later on, you spend the rest of your time just massing Banes and destroying whatever enemies, whatever props come your way. For enemy comp, it doesn't matter because you can just teleport to the spawn point and kill them with 2 Egorbs. So you're spending all your money on Banelings, and your Banelings will deal with props only, and that's not very hard. So as long as you get past the first wave, it doesn't really matter what enemy comp it is, you just need enough spine crawlers. So it's a little different from these. And because you use Banelings, even if they spawn kind of close, you should have enough of them to survive the first one. So you're not like automatically dead because of a bad prop spawn. Artanis, you need a lot of luck for the first 2 waves. If you watch my run, you'll see what I mean. You use Unbound Fanatics, and you hope that before they get eaten, they deal a ton of damage. That's just how it is. Alarak is pretty good, but you need to aim well. So you have to make sure you don't miss your force fields. Every time props come, you force field the walls and then overcharge or let your Wrathwalkers do the talking and then replace your force fields. So you just have to pay attention. Swan is super good because Swan, he has a slowing laser, slowing blaster abilities, everything gets wrecked. And Zagara, of course, we don't even need to say, she's just the best commander for this mutation. Banelings are super good, Scourge the shards, and then you win. That's it for this tier list. You can extrapolate this info to your duel runs. Good luck with the mutation.